1960s. Pressed by the Bell Swiss engineering company, who have been building trams all over Europe, specifically in Switzerland and in the mountainous areas, and wanted to bring something like that back to Albuquerque, New Mexico. So they did. In 1963, they began the planning phases, and then the actual construction of the tram began in 1964. It went from 1964 to 1966. It took about a little over $2 million. If you're trying to adjust for inflation, I'll keep it simple for you. Just multiply it by 10 for all the 1960s money. So $2 million in 1960s money would actually end up summing out to be about just under $20 million in today's cash to build the tramway. We're passing over the Cibola National Forest right now. That means it's a protected forest, and we got all sorts of different wildlife here. We've got mule deer. We did have, at one point, bighorn sheep as late as the 1990s, but we still have bobcats. We still have black bears, which you can see on occasion here. And you can also occasionally see our friends the hawks. I'll tell you all about them when we cross over Tower 1 here, or after we cross over Tower 1. We're coming up on Tower 1 right now. It's angled at about 18 degrees, pointed towards Albuquerque as we make our way over the tower. There'll be a little bit of swing and sway as we approach. And we are clear over that tower. That tower was actually built using the service road. You can still see the vestiges of the service road that was used to bring all the materials up to that tower. Right now we're passing a few key features. I want to point them out to you. We got golf ball rock over there. Called golf ball rock because it looks like a giant golf ball that might roll down towards the city of Albuquerque. That is, for perspective, about twice the size of the cabin. For additional perspective, we got cannon rock over there. Cannon rock is somewhere between 2 and 3 times the size of the cabin here right now. Also, we will be coming up on it here. It is a cropping up rock. Oh, we're not quite on it yet. Before we get there, I want to point out to our right, my friend and your friend, 3-story Dory. 3-story Dory is that large rock there. We call her 3-story Dory because she kind of looks like a fish. You can sort of see the little fin on the ridge there. 3-story Dory is actually like 2.5 stories, but that's not nearly as catchy. And you'll notice that she's got a little bit of a frown. And that's because she's like a giant 3-story rockfish, and there's like none other like her in the world, so she's lonely.
No idea what you're talking about.
Over there to the left, you will see what looks like a series of rocks on top of each other. It is actually one rock that has been slowly eroding. So we call it totem rock because it does kind of look like a totem pole, but it's actually just one continuous rock with all those various cracks and fissures in it. In just a few moments too, we are going to be crossing over what is known as Critical Point. When they were constructing the tram, there was exactly one place that they needed dynamite. It's right here. You'll see all that fresh looking granite. That is from when they blasted the dynamite to help get us up to Tower 2 here. Now you might notice as we're making our way to Tower 2, there are no service roads to be found. So the open question is, how did they build Tower 2? And it was the heroic work of 2 men carrying stuff on their back. I am just kidding for anyone who believes me on that. They used helicopters. They used helicopters, people. There were over 5,000 trips to the top of the mountain, or to construct the tram in its entirety. 2,000 of them alone were used to construct Tower 2. To the right of Tower 2, I'll try to point it out, maybe even as we're coming back down here, you can actually see the remains of what was the helipad. So they would actually drop stuff at the helipad, walk up a little bit of a distance to Tower 2, and they would construct Tower 2. get ready to approach Tower 2. I'm going to mention that this is the longest tram in North America. At one point was the longest tram in the world. And this particular span of cable that we'll be going over is still the largest unprotected span of cable. And that just means, I mean, it is protected, but that just means that between this tower and our final destination, it is just us.
I love how pink that is.
Hey,
Олеся, возьми.
41.
I know I don't need
a foot. Yeah, I'm swinging about. I would say 2 feet that way. Yeah. We're catching a little bit of wind right here. I was
Wow.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're getting a little bit. No, nicely done. Cool. Thank you. All right.
Сева, держись. Держись, Сева.
Oh, no. Now we are passing over the big span here. This is about 1.5 miles of cable, people. We're going to be going over 3 canyons. First canyon is called Big Canyon. Any guesses why they call it Big Canyon? Because it's pretty big. And just to put it in the context, the bigness of what you're perceiving right now, if you look down, it is about 1,000 feet to the bottom, or about 7.8 seconds if you're more on the time measure. Feel free to wave at the neighboring tram. You're not legally obligated to, but it always does make you feel better. You can fit the Eiffel Tower underneath us right now.
Oh, wow.
As we are going along here, Sandia Peak only has one constant naturally flowing body of water in it. It's going to be an Echo Canyon. However, there are lots of seasonal streams. And this area right here in Big Canyon is a really great example of it. You can see in the middle of the canyon a thicker tree cover. We can see a thickness in the tree cover here. That is where the water does create a natural kind of like temporary stream. Up ahead to our left, you'll see a rock face here. This is a popular destination for rock climbers. It is known as Ego, E-G-O Point, so called because they climb it and y'all watch them do it, and that makes them feel good. On the other side of Ego Point, we are now going to be moving into Echo Canyon. Echo Canyon, if you are going to see wildlife, it is tricky because if you are going to see the wildlife, there is, of course, they live all over the mountain, but they're going to be living in Echo Canyon because that is where the natural spring is, and you can see really thick trees here. Some of those trees are upwards of 100 feet tall. The contrast between the trees that don't get access to the steady water and the actual trees down there in the spring is stark. I would recommend.